All right, let's do this. Let's see. I just need to center myself a little bit more. Hi, everyone. Paul here for another live stream with CG Cookie. And today I've got a pretty good topic, one that I've been wanting to cover for a while, and that is using modifiers in your drawing process. Now, my very good friend Ruby, who is a life model here in Australia, um, graciously allowed me to use this portrait of her that she took recently. I thought it was perfect for this because it's got a wonderful symmetry to it, and this would be perfect for displaying what I want to teach, which is first off, we're going to start with something very simple called the mirror modifier. Now, the symmetry here, obviously, is right down the middle here. And what the mirror modifier allows you to do, just like with the modeling mirror modifier, it allows you to draw just half the picture and then the other half gets drawn for you. But there are always places of asymmetry as well. And so what we can really lean on is splitting up layers in grease pencil and how the modifiers allow us to select a single layer to effect. So I'm going to start this over from scratch to demonstrate everything. So let's go ahead and I'll make a new Shift A. Hang on, probably need to go into object mode here. Shift A, a new blank grease pencil object. And now that is there, and I'm just going to leave this as grease pencil. It's got one default layer, and I'm going to call this symmetrical. And I'm going to add another layer here. Oh, did he mention how long this is going to be? It's about half an hour. I can do a half-hour live stream each week. So we... about 3:50. Yes, exactly. And I'm going to do another one, asymmetrical. So we can draw on two different layers. I'm just going to select the symmetrical layer for now. And we'll go up to our modifier stack and we'll go ahead and add that mirror modifier before we do anything else. Now I'm going to go into my draw mode, and I'm going to select one of my custom pencils, which is, I've just got this drafting pencil that I created because it's nice and easy to draw with. Now when I draw on the left side, it's flipped across the x-axis. This is by default. But you can just as easily, let's say we take that away. Hang on, what's it doing? Yes, the y-axis is, in this case, front to back. So if we do something like that, it flips it vertically. Grease pencil is always set in front view, and it is set at a scale which is good for real-world measurements, that sort of thing. So for this instance, we only want to work with the x-axis. So let's delete some of that. Oh, look, you know what? We'll leave this on here, all right? And to give you a good idea of how we're going to be drawing on two separate layers, I'm going to select a different pencil. This one's my blue, but I might just change the color to something slightly darker. And I'm going to show you how, if I say draw something over here, right? So far, the mirror modifier is acting on the entire grease pencil object. This is where influence comes in. Modifiers allow you to influence layers, a layer pass, which is a little bit more complicated. I might get into another live stream session. Or even a material. So if you want only a material to be mirrored, you can draw across wherever you want. Whenever you use that material, that is mirrored. We're going to select the layer, and I'm going to select symmetrical. Now, all of a sudden, that O, or this layer here, we can draw wherever we want. And if we're on the symmetrical layer, let's go back to this one. This is always going to mirror, right? Okay, so let's see how this works with drawing Ruby over here. Okay, so I'm going to select my symmetrical layer. I got a little question here. Would like to see your method for making those nice grease pencil brushes. I think I have an earlier live stream. You can probably go to the CG Cookie the YouTube channel and find that. So the main benefit of all this is it's non-destructive. Yes, that's one benefit. The other benefit is that it saves you half the time in drawing. So check this out, all right? So we got our pencil red. Yes, the other thing is that the mirror modifier, by default, will mirror across the world origin. I've deliberately allowed my 3D cursor to show up, and I've set the 3D cursor to world origin so you can see where the world origin is. To demonstrate, I can move my cursor over here, and I'm thinking, oh, I want to draw over here somewhere. No, it's going to always mirror it in the world origin. So I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to go Shift S, cursor to world origin, just so I know where that origin is. Because without any sort of grid spacing or anything like that, it's very difficult to sort of get my bearings. And so let's draw Ruby over here real quick. I'm going to go with, okay, so we want face shape. Okay, and angry, all right, and we've got shoulders here. Okay, going to go into edit mode, connected only. That's another thing I tend to like to do. I will edit some sketches as I go, and so like obviously the mirror modifier works on any edits that you create. And so now we can do things like, let's draw in the nose here, and this wonderful expression in the mouth. I love this. This sort of reminds me. I think why I was drawn to this, Ruby, if you're watching, and I know you are. There's an artist that I follow called Joe Madeira, and he's always done these sorts of mouth poses and these really you know, wonderful expressions like this. And yeah, basically I will go ahead and just continue to edit this, right? So you can already see how symmetry is definitely helping in the drawing of this sketch. Okay, so let's put in these eyes, and let's just, oh yeah, that's right. Have I mentioned how much I love the comment section in these videos? You guys really do make it entertaining. Okay, so we've got stuff like this, right? And at any time you can just edit these lines using this proportional fall off, right? What do we get? Oh boy, I'm doing a really poor job here because I'm working really, really fast and talking all through it and stuff. So let me just get this this looking a little cooler. Do Ruby some justice here, because she is a wonderful, wonderful model and a wonderful human being. Let's just grab those. Get that chin there. All right, that's enough of that editing there. And again, I'll just continue with the symmetrical stuff. Okay, so that's like the hair over here and even these plaits, right? So we'll just draw in these plaits and some of these curls like that, right? So that's the symmetrical stuff. Oh, you know, she does have ears, even though they're hiding behind that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of artistic license and throw in a little bit of extra detail here. Now I'm going to go over to my asymmetric layer. And with the, just so that it's obvious, the blue pencil, I'm going to draw the stuff that is asymmetrical. Remember that the mirror modifier is only working on the symmetrical layer. So it's very easy to now come in here and say, draw this bun shape with these wonderful curls. Oh, Ruby's got the best curls. Yeah, and I'm definitely complimenting her because I know that she'll be watching. But she does have the best calls. It's a real challenge. But let's say we want to do some extra um, strands of hair over here, or let's say that we just wanted some of the makeup to be on one side of the face, and we wanted some asymmetry here, right? Now we've look how quickly I drew a fairly symmetrical pose. Where are we? Yeah, we're barely 10 minutes in. Now, if you wanted to, you could use more modifiers for stuff like this. Let's. Do you guys want me to crank this up a little bit? I mean, this is the mirror modifier, but do you guys want me to do something a little bit more, I don't know, intermediate, advanced? I think I'm going to. Uh, let's say I wanted some array um, modifiers in here. So I'm going to add another modifier, the array modifier, and I'm going to influence just the array layer here. Crank it. Yes, thank you, Joseph. All right. And what we can do is we can go relative. I'm thinking object offset. And I'm going to add a null object or an empty here. So where's my empty? There's my plane axes right there. Okay. Select my grease pencil object again. And the object, obviously, oh yes, it's empty one because the reference is empty. So this one, let's call this array. Sure, just for I'm coming up with these names on the fly. I know, genius. Um, and okay, so we've got the array over here. Now what we can do, I'm going to have to check to see where I can draw here. So let's go back into draw mode real briefly. And we'll just change the color of this pencil to, I think maybe a green. And I'm going to just see, okay, so it's going to array it that way. And now if I go ahead in my object mode and grab that object and move it or rotate it, yeah, okay. All right, okay, I think I can work with this. So what I want to do, draw mode. No, let's lock off those. So it's just the array. Right. An array, I want to factor it in the y direction. So, no, the z direction. Z is up, down in this. Let's go a little crazy, Bob Ross. Yes, as he pours himself another chamomile tea. And then I'm going to, okay, so it's going to go up, -1. Yes, there we go. All right, so I'm going to draw a plait, right? Something very simple. And maybe instead of a relative, I'll make it constant. And we'll drop that down like that. Excellent. And now what we can do is, because the empty's position is going to be important, I'm going to move this to where I need it, right? And now using that empty, I'm going to have to, oh, goodness sakes, I don't want keyframes, right? Okay, maybe this plait goes out a little bit like that. Yeah, okay, cool. This should be interesting. And now I can simply array that plait so that now this plait, see what that's doing there, is working, and this object is what is offsetting it, right? We can even scale this a little bit, get a little bit crazy here and just move it around, and so you can really get some interesting shapes even at the level of sketching, which I really, really like. And so let's say that we want those plaits to do something like that, and we want to just edit this sketch ever so slightly. Actually, let's go into edit mode and let's edit this bit of line. Here, maybe we rotate it a little bit, right? It helps with editing and getting your sketch, like, you know, to a place you want it. And then once you're happy with it, you can just simply apply the modifier. So let's say, okay, I really like that plat. I'm going to apply this array modifier, and now this is, has just been applied. So that's the destructive part of the process, yeah? And so where this comes in really handy, let's see now. If I haven't tried this pass, so I'm going to try it. Let's see if this works. Pass 1. Now, can I put a pass on one of these layers? Is this where we do it? Vertex groups? No. Relations. Pass 1. Asymmetrical. Pass 1. Yes, that's done it. All right, okay. So let's take that away. Yes, there we go. All right. So now we just want to affect 2 layers and not 1. We use the pass for the influence, right? So not the layer, but the pass. And I've selected pass 1. And in my layers, I've made the symmetrical pass 1. Asymmetrical still has a pass of 0. This is under relations. And the array has got a pass of 1. So now we can get a little bit more fancy with how we approach this. And so then what this all means is when we get to the inking stage, let's go inking. All right. Inking is where, you do your second or more refined version of the sketch. And damn, I covered this in 15 minutes. This is go me. Are you all following along okay? Have I gotten too far ahead of it? If there's anything that you guys want me to re-explain, just let me know in the comments. Sorry about that. Let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to slow it down, rehash it or whatever. It would be a lot harder in Critter, but the clone layer and transform marks makes a similar... Yes, it does. Yes. This is basically my way of doing those sorts of mirror modifier things inside of Blender. All right, so now inking, I'm going to do something bit of both. So I'm going to add, let's say I'm going to add another mirror modifier that only influences the inking layer, right? Yes, I think I'll go with this. Now in my draw tools, going to get my, I like this brush tip pen because it's got a bit of, what do you call it? Transparency at points, and so it looks more like a marker. And now I can go ahead and start to draw in some lines, okay, that are a little bit more heavy. Now I can drop the opacity on any layer that I want. I feel like I'm finding less reasons to close Blender as time goes by. Yes. So I'm going to select that symmetrical layer and I'm going to drop the opacity so it's a lot more faded. Might do the same with the asymmetrical. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now I can go in and begin to ink in things like some eyelashes, right? And this eyebrow here. Okay, and you can sort of see how this ink is just this beautiful brush. And yes, I've made this. This is my custom brush, which I will try to make available shortly. I'm just trying to update some stuff on Gumroad and for CG Cookie and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, look, if I manage to update it today, I'll go ahead and add links to the free brushes and all that sort of stuff, so you guys can go ahead and use it. Yeah, look, this is where the inking comes in handy. And so once we've gotten through this part of the process, Right. Yeah, I do. My habit, I should be doing this with the sculpt brush, but my habit is to go into edit and use proportional fall off and just move the points around instead. And yeah, so that's how sort of like I do my editing. Gonna make these eyes a little bit lower and a little bit larger, I think. Right. I probably should put in a plug for Ruby. I think I've put her Instagram handle in the notes. So if you guys want to follow a really amazing life drawing model, yeah, there's a link to her Instagram there. That's where she's mainly active. And yes, this is a safe for work picture. There's a lot of not safe for work stuff on the Instagram. Just sort of it's just an FYI, because yeah, life modeling. There's a lot of cosplay, a lot of human figure drawing, all that sort of stuff. Um, so let's just get these eyes in there. So let's say that, oh boy, she's really jowly here, isn't she? Oh, we want a thinner face here and more lip here. Right. Okay, I can go ahead and continue to add to that. But then once I'm done with the inking for the symmetrical stuff, and I'll just quickly draw in these plats. There. Right, so let's say that I'm sort of done with all the symmetrical inking. This is where I usually go ahead and apply that modifier to the same layer. You don't have to if you want to keep it non-destructive, but at this point, I think I want to get destructive so that now I can begin to ink in the asymmetrical stuff, right? And this is where I can sort of put in, so this will be some light, obviously, and these curls, right? And then go ahead and just embellish that drawing to really do this more justice. Like the creases on the nose. Probably should have done these eyes in symmetry, but you get the idea as far as live demo goes. Just really trying to. Okay, I'm just going to do some scaling on these eyelashes so that we get some, yeah. And maybe we can just add a little bit of expression in these eyes as well, now that we're asymmetrical and we're not using the mirror modifier anymore. Where are we at? Yes, okay, so about 10 minutes. So let's see. You were doing fine. I understand you at your pace while I'm warming scones. Damn it, Rita, you're making me hungry. I'm also switching my character design workflow over to Blender because I think it might be easier to manage multiple versions of an idea by saving grease pencil frames. Thank you, Joseph. What say maybe next week? Do you want to look at keyframing in grease pencil? I'd be happy to put that on the schedule. So yes, I think that'd be a really good topic to cover. Have asymmetry looks less uncanny. Yes, that's right. When they do. So yeah, like you can see that symmetry is good to start with, but then adding that asymmetry really brings it, um, gives it more that realism. But of course, those tools are there to assist you with the process to make it well, I don't want to say easier, but it sort of says, okay, you know what? I want to spend less time on this part of the process and more time on this other part of the process, and using those tools to your advantage is basically the way you become really good at creating this sort of artwork. But you know, it all sort of starts off with this kind of reference, and in this case, it was the kind of portrait that kind of begged symmetrical drawing for at least part of it. Right, and then we can sort of make that mouth a little bit more asymmetrical as well, so on and so forth. And look, I think we're getting there, which really is nice. Is it possible to render out SVG sequence? Gonna have to get back to you on that one. There you can save out an SVG. In terms of sequences, I haven't looked into that just yet, so I'll take a look at that in terms of grease pencil. But yeah, look, then once you're sort of done with everything, you can get rid of these sort of helper files like any, what do you call it, empties that you've had. And let's just compare it to the one I did earlier. I kind of like this one because I got to spend a lot more time on this. And I think it's a little bit more closer to what I was hoping for. But you can sort of see that these blue dots here, that would be where I'd put my highlights, and even like the shading and things like that. I used symmetry on, which really helped this along a lot. And then, you know, from there you get onto your coloring and shading and lighting and so on. So where are we at? We're at 20. Yeah, been roughly at about half an hour. So absolutely, I'm just going to read a few of the comments here. Absolutely, I wouldn't dream of sculpting or modeling both sides separately. This feels like a speed up in a lot of the ideation phase. Yes, yes. At the ideation phase, if you can break down and determine what is symmetrical, what is asymmetrical, methods like this can help you. Also with stuff like the array modifier, which is also really good for drawing. Just going to see if there's any other ones which would be really good. Oh, look, outline multiple strokes. Build. Really, the array and mirror are kind of where I think working with modifiers is most useful for myself. Other ones then begin to add effects to it. So, learning to write Python is really worth it. Yes, that's one of my weaknesses. I've got to put my hand up. I don't know anything about Python. So, look, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me and watching with me during this live stream. Where can I find the recorded versions? So on this YouTube channel, cgcookie.com, under live, you should see my backlog of archived live streams, and they are broken down in different topics. You should find one on making a custom brush for the person who was asking. I think I've covered that topic before. Anything else here? Sequences. Yes, so phone notifications muted. Yes, okay, cool. Just going to quickly read to see if I've missed anything. No, I think that's about it. So yes, once again, thank you guys for hanging with me today, and I'll be back again next week with another live stream. Bye for now.